to Greenlands, and bit of a marathon one today. That's basically because I wanted to get back into some gameplay, but also had a bunch of stuff to do. So, it's going to take a while to get all the jobs done. The first job that I want to do is liming. God, jeez. I thought I was going for the flatbed there. So I went through and looked at the planting plan that I've got, and basically checked the fields that need stuff doing soon. Some of the grass fields need reliming, and then I'm planning to plant fields 55, 61, 76, and 41 and 42 with grain in October or November. I'm holding out because 41 and 42 have grass in, and I want to get one more cut off of them. But all of those fields need liming. Some of them need ploughing. Some of them are going to need rock picking. So I'm going to have that running in the background while we get the first job done, which is going to be to feed the sheep in the new sheep enclosure. Obviously, we made that in the last video. So at the moment, they have zero feed, zero water. So we need to get that sorted. Luckily, on here, we have quite a random selection of things because it's a save that was converted to Maize Plus. So some of the silage is whole crop, so we can use that for the sheep. We've got lots of hay, and we've got plenty of other stuff about as well. So I'm going to get Courseplay running on the liming because that can work. So it can work in the background. We will be ploughing those grass fields in once we can get a cut off of them. That's the plan. So looking for the trigger for the bale shed. We can spawn some bales. We want some big hay bales and some big whole crop silage bales. I'm not sure how long the feed trough is going to last on this new sheep pen, but we will see basically. But yeah, we've got whole crop silage, we've got hay, we've got beets knocking about, and we've got the stuff to make grain mix except for the mill. So we'll need to get the mill. But yeah, so going to be a chunk of feeding, going to be then upgrade. Did I upgrade the feed mix already? Can't remember. I recorded this common story at the moment. I recorded this video quite a while ago and then just getting it finished off now. If we haven't, we're going to upgrade the feed mixer to a much bigger feed mixer. So be doing some feeding of the cows, and we need to move some of the maize silage over from the BGA plant as well. So yeah, need to get. So no, we have not upgraded the feed mixer yet. I just got a glimpse of the farcing in the corner there. So this was recorded before the Maize Plus update dropped, which released today as I'm recording this. I'll give you an idea when I'm recording the commentary. And that's really going to help out on here because we're going to be using less feed, particularly for the dairy cows. So it's about 1,000 litres less per cow per month. With 160 cows, that's a lot of feed over the year. You know, that's 1.6, nearly 2 million litres of feed less a year. So yeah, that's really going to help out, and it doesn't affect the milk production. So very cool. 3 more bales, so we will have done 3 whole crop silage and 2 hay bales in here to get these guys started. One of the jobs I am going to get done today as well, excuse me, is sorting out the deco grass that was placed from placing this pen and the previous 2 that we had. So we'll get that ploughed in, excuse me, limed, replanted, everything. So that's going to look properly sorted soon. When the hour ticks over, the cows will all graze. So one of the changes that comes with the update to Maize Plus is we don't need to chop all of our beets and potatoes anymore. Obviously you can if you want, but some of the animals now, you don't need to do that. And there's a video on the channel that came out on Wednesday, which goes through all of that. So we need to update the PDF still, but life's really busy. So This tractor is on the small side for this bucket, and I think in future we'll probably be going to doing them whole. But you know, for now I could get a much bigger weight on the back. I think this is a 1500 kilo weight, but we do kind of have a bit of an issue, so yeah. Oh well. How can we adapt here? Let's just shred it onto the floor. That'll work, and then we can bring the Farsian over with its bucket on, and that will be able to pick it up just fine, I'm sure. Remember folks, realism is key. I think on this save in particular there is going to be a bit less realism than I normally do. I am not mega realistic normally, but yeah, there's going to be a bit less on here, mainly due to the high volumes of things that we're going to need to do. So the feed mixer that I'm going to get holds 125,000 litres, which is great because it's like, now I think it'll be one mix a day, which is obviously much better, but very unrealistic. And later on we will be getting one of 82 Studios big trailers to go on the back of the lorry, which holds 250,000 litres of stuff. So yeah, kind of cheaty, but kind of needed on here with the scale of farming that we're doing. We get round to selling some milk at the end as I skip forwards a day, and the volume of milk is pretty darn nuts, if I'm honest. So I was just looking at what's no, actually I was looking to see if I still had I used to have over at the production site a sugar beet cutter, the placeable one from I think Vertex Designs, but I sold it because I didn't think I needed it anymore, and now technically I don't think I do. So yeah, we should be okay there for the next video on here. Obviously some of the changes have affected build type, so if you had pallets and stuff you might have issues. I do cover in the video that I released today how to fix that, so yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but you know, part of the licensing deal with Doika. So now we have a bit of an issue that this field, it seems to think, covers 3 fields, and that's where, I don't know if you can see on the mini map, the grass fields have merged slightly. There's no gap between them, and this has been a reoccurring issue on here. Basically I end up having to repaint, oh, I can't think of the right word, boundaries between the fields. That'll do, to split them up again so Courseplay can find the edges. So here I'm just using the muddier texture, but I end up just using grass. This video was recorded before I got the new monitor, so we've still got the offset in the cursor position. This I think is the last video that should have that in. I'm actually watching the playback on the new monitor. I've been working on it all day because I use it for work as well, and it's awesome. So 27 inches of gloriousness. So yeah, just painting in some fairly fat field margins, field boundaries, just to split that in Courseplay. It's not pretty, but it's going to work. And these fields are going to become arable fields as soon as I can get this grass mown. So not too worried really. If we weren't really in need of the grass for feed, I'd probably plough some of it in now and get it planted early. I may end up planting some of them early. Some of the fields are empty at the moment, so 61 has been ploughed, and I believe 76 has been ploughed. So they just both need lime and rock picking, so we could get the seeder going on those next time. It's as I said, because I haven't played on here properly for a very long time, it's going to take me just a little while to get back into the swing of things on here as to what we need to do, where we are with things. We do have a load of chaff in the bucket here, so we're going to have to empty that out. It's going to, and yeah, the driving there was driving. It was definitely driving. But yeah, we're going to use the bucket to take over the beets, and then we're going to need to get ourselves a stator mill to make the grain mix that we're going to use for the power food for the sheep. So this is their moisture food. There's a few jumps now because I was getting a bit nervous that this was getting quite long, and all we've done is fed some sheep really. The reality is this Let's Play, I am going to spend a lot of time feeding animals. I'm not going to show it all because you'll probably get a bit bored of it, but we've got a lot of sheep, we've got a lot of cows. It's going to be interesting. Actually, there's a really cool mod that I haven't tested it yet. I really hope it works. I really hope it's a legit mod. It's on King Mods, and it's the improvement to the animal system or something. And what it does is it increases the number of offspring that animals have. There's a few other changes as well, which are quite cool. It's by a modder that I've not heard of before. It makes me a little bit twitchy. Not judging them, but I'm just a bit gun shy on mods lately. So yeah, hoping that that is a legit mod that's going to work, because that will be really cool. Something we haven't done is paint in meadow for the sheep here. This pasture is not going to feed them particularly well. You can see the cursor offset here with the recording as well. I said this should be the last video you see that, but the meadow grass will help give them some feed. It's not going to do a lot, but it'll do something. And I cheat and I have the free landscaping mod in. So, it's free food. Yay. I think there's only 80 sheep in there. In fact, there's more, but we need to move some of them, I believe. So we need a big tractor to run the grain mill, and this is probably absolutely stupidly excessive with our 8RX. I think it's a 410. Yeah, it's a bit excessive, but hey, it's a bit of fun. And it was a tractor that was easy for me to grab. So, and the grain mill does need 280 horsepower. Yes, we have 410. But, it's close. It's close. I'm not very good at maths. That's more funny if you know me in a bit more detail. But anyway, we're going to do some grain mix. I'm going to kind of wing it a bit. If you want to do this properly, I would use the fill level limiter mod. That will let you set the amounts that you want to put in. If you watched me mix it on Attingham, you will have seen I had much more success doing it with that than just YOLOing it. Did I just say YOLO? So I apologize deeply. Than winging it. It's a better phrase. It's a better phrase. Unfortunately, I don't think the editor will be bothered to take that out to save me the embarrassment. Oh well. So you want somewhere over 50% of wheat, and then I think it's 10%, 10 or 20% barley minimum, and then the rest oats. And we're going to bring over the farce in with the bucket and grind some direct into the bucket. The mill is quite slow, so what I do after that is while I'm running around doing everything else, I just keep mixing it and putting it straight back into the silo. Grain mix is added to the silo category, so you can just put it into a normal grain silo. It doesn't need to be a bulk silo, and that's quite handy because it saves the job. So grain mix is done. I didn't actually record me tipping it into the trough. I'm sure you can imagine how that went. And now we need to fill the water up because they don't have automatic water. I may tweak that in the future. But for now, we have a water trailer, so it's a pretty quick drive across. I don't know if I increased the water capacity on here. So we'll see how we get on with running out of water or not. That's going to be interesting, I think. Well, interesting for me, maybe not for you. I don't know. I don't know what some of you lot find interesting. Some of you are a bit strange. Yeah, so next job is going to be upgrading the feed mixer, and we are going to be mixing some TMR with what we have on hand at the moment. So I don't really have any maize silage at the yard, which will be a big part of what we feed the cows in the future. We have a lot of whole crop, we have a lot of hay, we have a lot of grass silage, have a fair bit of straw as well. So basically The mix that I'm going to do next is just something to get the cows through the night, essentially, and we'll settle on a proper mix as we go, as we get more organised. So the farcing is going. It was a really nice bit of kit, but I just don't fancy mixing like 4 mixer wagons full of TMR every day. That's just going to take quite a long time. Also, 26,000, yeah, so it would be like 5 plus a day. Or we can go for the SPW Intense. We do need to borrow a bit of cash. It's a bit frustrating because we were supposed to be having less debt, not more. But I really want this bit of kit. I think there's going to be some other things that we need to buy as we get organised. But yeah, this was off of King Mods, I think, and yeah, 125,000 litres. There is a 415 horsepower version. I don't think we need it for the extra cash. It is just an increase in horsepower, I think. So yeah, £232,000 later. And although I sold the farcing here, I had left the buy point over where I brought the grain mill. But yep, we are going to get this thing fed up with TMR and get the cows fed. It's obviously a much, well, in capacity, it's much bigger than the one we had. I could have cheated, I guess, and just increased the capacity of that, but chose not to. Chose to spend the extra cash. Just looking to see, we do not have much maize silage here. As I say, I'm going to get a big trailer to bring over some from the other side. That's going to have to be something that we need to do. So yeah, need to settle on a recipe that we're going to use. So I'm just going to use one of the existing ones at the moment, and we're going for the young stock recipe. So I've already put in 30% of the mixer's worth of hay, so it was about 38,000. We're then going to put a bunch of straw in, and then go get some grass silage bales. So this mix is meant to be predominantly hay, and I think either grass or maize silage. I should know, but I can't remember. And then a bit of straw and a few other things. I'm not going to do the other things today. So I was just trying to get myself going on here, and get into playing on it here. So I'm hoping that, generally the way that I like to do things is a couple of tutorials a week if I've got tutorials to make, and then the rest let's plays. That means that on average you'll get just under 2 either Attingham, Maypole or Greenlands videos a week if I get all the videos made in a week. At the moment it is possible that I won't. This is the last video I have recorded at the moment. This should go out on Friday. It is Wednesday. I do not know if I will get any more recorded before the weekend. I need to get the patrons video recorded as a priority because that's part of the deal. And I will say now thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members for all supporting my crazy hobby. Well, I think it's a weird hobby. You guys obviously enjoy what I do, which I don't know. It's still kind of I'm a little YouTube channel in the grand scheme of things. I've got nearly 3,500 subscribers. The fact that out of that there are over 20 of you that support the channel the way you do, it just blows my mind. So I really appreciate it. I've had this thing. I was actually chatting to Kartik about it yesterday or the day before. Since I got the first wave of videos were awful, but after a few months, I started doing things as if I had a much bigger following, and I think that is maybe why I am where I am. I'm not saying that I'm doing amazingly, but I'm enjoying it. You guys enjoy it, so it's all a bit of fun. And I think if you are one of the I know there are some people that watch this that are YouTube creators. Do things like you're a big channel. That's my view. I set Discord up probably way earlier than I should. It was deserted forever. And then people crept in, and I made some really good friends when those people crept in. I set up merch too early. It's still too early for merch, really. I think there aren't many people that have brought merch. I'm not sure how good the merch is, to be honest. But I did things like the buy me a coffee before I was even monetized, because I don't know, it just seemed like a good idea. And then Smok convinced me to do YouTube channel memberships, and definitely suggested that Patreon was a good idea, and it seems you were right. So yeah, if you're a small channel, try and do things like you're a big channel, is my advice. More random facts from me, talking like I know what the heck I'm talking about, to do with YouTube when I have 3,500 subscribers. Yeah, so let's say I don't know what else will be coming out over the weekend. Generally, the weekends are really good for me getting content recorded, but yeah, life's not life. Work's mental at the moment, and I may just stop at the weekend and take a bit of a break. We'll see. So on top of the monitor Black Friday deal, we have finally got ourselves. It was dirt cheap. It's a lot of the tech that I buy is not the most expensive, but we got ourselves a 50-inch 4K TV. I think it's a random Chinese brand. It's a brand called Hisense. So we're just sticking some more straw in and probably a bit more hay just to top up the mixture. Currys have started advertising them. I got it off of Amazon for, again, I think nearly half price. Had a load of good reviews, so our current TV, I want to say, is at least 8 years old. It might be more. It might be more like 10. I don't even think it counts as HD. So yeah, I think it might be 720p. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. Job for this evening, when I finish talking to you lot, is to unpack said TV and get it set up. Which will be cool. I think it's going to look crazy big, but yeah. So that's 125,000 litres of TMR going in for the cows. Here they come to get some feed. I'm hoping, particularly with the update to Maize Plus, that this is going to be enough every day. One of these should be good, I think. I can't remember the exact amount that the brown Swiss need. It's not as much as the Holsteins. So come over to get some maize silage. We're going to crack open the smaller of the two bunkers, and then I have the auto load belt system. So we're going to have belt fed silage into the trailer, and the trailer we're going for is from 82 Squared Studios. It's the X52 tipper, basically because if I put it in unreal capacity, it's got 250,000 litres capacity. I'm going to lease it because I don't really want to blow all the money on buying it. I might throw the lease to own mod into here, so eventually we can buy it. But yep, that's that leased. And then, as I said, in the belt systems, I can't remember where I got this from. I can't remember if it's on Mod Hub now. But it's the auto load SL8022 that will pick up directly off the floor, so you don't need the second belt, which is obviously pretty handy, and it moves around the map a darn sight quicker, which is pretty handy. We're going to leave this one down here because we have, I think, what was it, 4 and a bit million litres of silage to move. That's going to pretty much all go to feeding cows, I think, with Maize Plus enabled and the animal food additions. If we get to the point where we've got some excess, we'll put it in the BGA. We have a bunch of grass down here to mow. I'm hoping before the grass dies back for winter that the big field we've got planted will be mowable. That was more done as a cover crop after the corn went in. So we'll see whether that gets some cut. Definitely we'll want to get a cut off of that in the spring before we put corn back in. So that's what that mega field is going to be. It's going to be maize silage to keep the dairy fed. Yeah, for some reason I could not get it to pick silage up from here. I saved and reloaded a bit. I popped open the one next door, and it did pick up, and I think it's picking up from the one next door. You will see, and it's something that I'll have to fix between videos, that actually, although this bunker initially opened, it's closed itself again. In fact, both have. I don't know if it's because there's so much in there, so I'll need to go into the XML file and actually set them to closed so I can reopen them. Yeah, it's a pretty easy XML edit, so not too worried that as we start to see it's pulling from kind of both, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure why it wouldn't take it initially. Maybe the game's got confused between the two bunkers because they're so close together, but you can see both are actually closed again, so that's easy enough to sort. It's an XML thing to tell the XML. It gets out of sync. The game thinks it's closed, the save thinks it's open, so you need to go into the save and tell it it's closed, and then you can reopen it. I'm hoping that we don't have too many issues with stuck silage and things with it being such a large amount. We'll see how it goes. The other thing that I have done is if in one of the previous videos I edited the fermenting silos. I went in again so that we can add fermented products to those, so we can store maize silage and grass silage in those as well. It seemed sensible to me. It's a way of storing the maize on the farm. So yeah, I said things are going to be a little cheatier on here. You know, like 250,000 litres in a trailer. In fact, that one looks like it's open, so it's just the other one that I need to go in and edit. But yeah, I thought it was a good idea to be able to store the silage in these fermenting silos we have. That will make mixing the TMR easier. So we will be going probably in future for kind of the mix that I do a lot, which is maize silage, grass silage, and then some extra bits. I'm not sure what they'll be on here. We've got beets and potatoes, I think, so maybe some of those. We won't, I don't think, be able to rely on grazing in any of the pastures to actually keep the animals fed. The beef, the beef and the young stock, I'm not going to feed. I'm going to, when there are animals in there that are approaching selling age, we'll pull them out, we'll put them into another pasture, feed them up and sell them. You can see the sheep have grazed off the top layer of meadow. The nice thing about grazing is you never see the meadow texture, which I don't like particularly. Grazing will always keep that knocked back, so it actually looks like grass. Really like it. So I'm going to go and grab another one of those. So we'll have 500,000 litres of maize silage. And now, next job is we're going to move the calves out of the milker shed, put them in the field. That means they won't eat the TMR that's in the milker shed, and save us some feed. It's going to be a reoccurring thing on here, saving feed, and then once we've done that, we'll progress ahead to the second day of September. So the plan was always to move the animals out. Enabling Maize Plus just makes that more beneficial. So, although now with the way the feeding's set up with the younger ones, they're not going to eat that much for a while, but basically we need the space so that the other cows can have calves. So the way it's set up, it's all staggered. So there are 2 batches of 80 older cows, and they'll have calves staggered so that we can keep producing calves to bring in here to raise up to sell for beef. And the brown Swiss calves aren't going to be worth as much when we sell them, but they're essentially free cash. So we could put in another milk shed. We could put in another big shed and get milk out of them. You don't get milk in this open pasture, obviously. We could edit it so we did. We could add in a mobile milking point maybe, but for now we don't. And I think if I wanted to get milk out of them as they got older, I would put another big shed in. We'll see. Let's see how we do. None of those cows are particularly old. So I moved the rest of them as well, so all 80 have been moved. And we're now going to plough some sheep. for you Welsh people watching, try not to get too excited. Basically going to plough in the 2 areas where there's deco grass left so that we can plant grass and just have it look nice, basically. We're going to have to do a bit of rock picking, might have to spread some lime. I bring the field scanner over to scan them again, although the scan was still valid because this was a field originally before, was all fields around here until I built sheep pastures on it. So yeah, just basically getting this sorted ready for going forwards and it looking good. I don't actually remember what else we do. So, you know, I'm going to plough, lime, scan, seed, and then we're going to go and sell some milk actually, and you'll see already the insane amount of milk we are getting. We have obviously, maybe not obviously, we have 160 mature brown Swiss on the farm, and they have produced overnight an immense amount of milk. I'm thinking, so there's a couple of options that I'm considering. One is we're going to have to set up an auto drive route that will actually get from the milk point in the farm to one of the sell points and work. The other is we use the automatic milk sales that I'm using on Attingham and I was using on Maypole. I don't want to end up using that on every map. Third is we have to put in a milk storage tank so that we can at least store 2 days worth of milk and sell every other day. Yet we're producing that much milk. There is a milk storage tank, I believe, on Mod Hub, so I may look at adding that in as an option. Just to save having to do the run every day, because otherwise I think we're going to have to. You did have a bit of milk stored before I enabled Maize Plus, but not that much. Considering I enabled Maize Plus at the end of the first day of September, and it's, you know, so it's less than a day's worth. I know you have to put a lot more in, but as I keep saying, you get a lot more out. I did a bit of landscaping up here that I didn't show, so I just painted some dirt in, just, you know, to give an area where, you know, we're driving in and out with feed and the water tanker and stuff. So just to make that kind of obvious. Yes, we use GT plows on here. I use GT plows. I actually have some proper plows on here, but I also have 2 GT plows. And for this job, the GT plow seemed like the plow to use. So, yep, ploughing done. Let's switch over and grab the crop scanner, which I actually have standing by next to the field. You can, in fact, see it there on the back of one of the little Massies. I don't know why I have all small Massies on here. But yeah, both of my small tractors are Massies. Oh, bit of quality driving there. Meant to do that. Nailed it. Just wanted to reverse back so that I could drop the plough off easier. Obviously. You know, I clearly know what I'm doing here. So we're just going to drop the plough here, I think. You know, it's why I did that spin. It was all part of the plan. Yeah, it's really nice to be back on here. I love the selection of kit that I have on here. Really looking forward to getting stuck into more of it. I think the only thing that I'm going to change, and I don't know how popular it will be, is once we've got a harvest off the poplars, I'm going to plough that in because we need the land for feed, basically. And it was kind of an interesting experiment, but we're quite a long way. Yeah, I think this is the start of the 2nd year on here, and they feel like they're a long way off of being ready to harvest. So yeah, jumping in the T7, and I think I don't actually remember what we're off to get at this point. Oh, it's the rock picker. Of course it's the rock picker. Having to go round because someone's left a bloody great 8RX in the way that's milling grain, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to get around this farm, which is quite nice. It's quite a nicely laid out yard. I do like this map. So originally one of the plans was to get into vineyards on here, but really not helpful for running a big Maize Plus animal farm. You can see these cows have grazed as well. And I don't think there's much money in it, to be fair. And we've got over £8.5 million worth of debt at the moment. So, you know, there are mods around that change that, which could maybe get into. But at the moment, I want to get stable with dealing with all these animals. Get the debt knocked down if we can. And then maybe we'll look at branching out into different types of farming. I've done very little with grapes and olives. Mostly just random bits of testing. So I did some, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, I did a courseplay video when they added the functionality to courseplay. I did a bunch of testing. I got part way through making a video about trying to make money out of grapes and realised that it was kind of a dead end. And that was about when I decided maybe I won't do grapes on here. And it was taking forever to try and make that video. So yeah, one of the videos that I do want to get done soon is, though the series is starting to get into the most profitable animals with Maize Plus. Chickens is going to be the first one because partly it's easy and partly I'm curious as to whether they are still profitable with the changes that Maize Plus brings. And it's only really a small increase in the amount of food that they eat, so I'd be amazed if it really ruined it. The thing that makes it harder is the complexity of feeding them and needing more crops. You know, when I did the first most profitable animals video, you could grow a field of wheat or barley or whatever, and that's your chicken sorted for the year. So yeah, there is that to it, which will make it more challenging and interesting. Because it's Maize Plus, I'm not going to be using just Mod Hub mods. I don't think we'll be... because I think chickens need root crops, so we'll be using the KS6B root crop harvester that, if you are a regular on the channel, will know that I use a lot and really like, and it's cheap. So yeah, I don't think I needed to rescan any of this. You can see it's still got a valid scan. I went round and did it anyway. No idea why. I decided I needed to do it. We've brought the lime spreader over because I thought that we needed to spread lime. So we'll have a look at that as well. I'm really hoping that you can't hear the building that is still going on next door here. It's been, I think we're into week 3 of about 12 hours a day of building noise, which makes it kind of hard when you want to make YouTube videos. So yeah, hopefully you can't hear it. That's the sample sent off to the store, or the lab, I guess. And it looks like we're pretty close on the lime. But I don't think I bothered. Nope. So we've hooked the horse up to the T7. I normally run this on the 8RX because of the power. The T7 has enough power, but it's pretty borderline. But it's quite a small area, so I thought we'd be fine. I couldn't be bothered to swap the tractors over. Basically, the 8RX is still milling grain. You can see that with the simple inspector that's running just above the map. That's the mod that gives me the little HUD, and on something like this, that's incredibly useful. Because any vehicle that's running, it gives me the status of, so it means I've left the Barsin still running. Which is a bit annoying because we're wasting electricity. But yeah, I can see that it lets me keep an eye on the 8RX, check that it's still grinding grain. Because we're going to use that for feeding the sheep. Hoping that grazing will do most of it in here because it's quite a big area. And B, it'll be going in the TMR, I think. It's why we grew it, so yeah. Depends if there's enough, if I'm honest. So a bit of fiddly work here just to get around the palette. I think I end up doing a little bit more landscaping as well, just to kind of neaten things up a little bit. And it's because it's a direct drill, we're kind of obliterating some of the stuff we didn't plough. But I think it's all okay. I think it was all ploughed anyway. The only reason I got the plough out was because I think you need to plough in the placeable stuff to be able to reseed. So that's why it was done. But that's the grass replanted. So pretty pleased with that. I know we've still got some bits here to do. Getting ahead of myself. I'm really quite surprised that I have managed to do the 40 minutes so far in one hit. As I said, this is quite a long video. I'm recording this after a day at work, which is far too common at the moment. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased that I've got through waffling away to you guys for the best part of 3/4 of an hour already. You best still be watching at this point. I've forgotten to do it early again. I need to do the whole like, subscribe, comment thing much earlier in the videos because most people aren't watching at this point. So, and most people aren't subscribed. Only about half of them are. So I'm assuming if you've got to 41 minutes in, you are actually subscribed. So that's that job done. So we'll get this put away. We'll hook the lorry up to the milk tanker. And I'm actually going to have to do 2 trips. That gives you an idea just how much milk we've got. The next game day will be more interesting because obviously I emptied the tank, so we'll get to see just how much we produce in a day. Someone forgot that they needed to open the trailer. As I said, been a while. So we'll open the trailer up and then we'll fill it up. There we go. So yeah, we've got what going up quite quickly. But we end up with about a trailer and a half full of milk, most of which is from one day. So that gives you a reasonable idea of just how much milk we're going to produce. So I think there's 50,000 litres in the trailer and another 28,000 litres waiting. So we are up at the animal dealer auction milk sell point. So there's a couple of sell points for milk on the map here. This is the one that had the best price for today. So we'll roll round and get this first load sold, and then I'll head back and refill. So yeah, this is quite a lot of cash coming in. We also have precision farming, as you will have seen, and we have a pretty good environmental score. So we got £76,000 for the milk, and I don't think I have it on the screen at this point. Now what I'm doing is repaying the money we borrowed. So yeah, we're back down to £8,250,000 in debt. That's just such a big amount of money. But we've got another 28,000 litres of milk to sell. So yeah. Yeah, so I think we've got 76 off the first load. This is going to be another 40,000. So we're going to have cleared 100 grand in selling milk. I'll do the whole like, subscribe, comment stuff now before we forget. But yeah, I just wanted to show just how much we got from milk sales. So yeah, 107 versus 66 last month, and that was several months worth of milk. So yeah, a big difference. So I will see you next time on Greenlands.